Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews, and right here next to me we have the Azza Onyx 260. It's a very budget-friendly ATX case, including a tempered glass side panel and RGB lighting for only 70 euros. Let's see if it's any good. So, given that it has a glass side panel, I really wanted to make sure that packaging was good. Packaging was actually not good, it was great, amazing for a case that's only 70 euros. Closed cell foam, plastic protection on the glass, on the plastic front elements as well. So packaging is great. I would have no problems at all shipping an entire system inside the original box. Moving on to build quality, it's actually the type of build quality you would expect in a 50 euro case. So the metal is not super thin. It's definitely thinner than what I like, but it's actually pretty well built. So you get metal top, metal back, metal bottom. Side panel on one side is metal, then of course this side panel is tempered glass. Front panel is plastic with another clear plastic layer in front of it. You do get optical slots, so there is a door there. The door mechanism is rubbish to say the least. It has magnets in it, but the hinge is so stiff that it doesn't really need those magnets. And then behind that little door, that's also where your RGB LED controller button is, so you can swap between modes or turn the lights off completely. So physical overview, as I said, 2 optical slots. You can put dual 140mm fans in here. Now there is a reason why my personal system is not in this case. I won't be keeping it. Part of the reason for that is that while it does have the option to fit dual 140mm fans in the front, it won't fit 280mm radiators because there's just not enough clearance between the bottom or the optical slots. So basically the tubing or the end tanks would just hit, and because I need to sell this case on, I won't be cutting out the optical cages. So no system in this, but I think I still have a pretty good idea of what it's like to build in this. Disassembling the case so we could actually theoretically start building in it. The first thing I noticed was that all the threads for all the screws are horrible. Basically, not a single one of these thumb screws actually feels like it fits. It's like everything is cross-threaded from the factory, and that's just a quality control issue that I'm going to be talking about a lot more in this video. On their website, it shows as if the entire front is RGB lit, whereas in reality, as you can see in these pictures right here, there's just 5 LEDs in the bottom. I don't really like that they just mislead the customer by putting different sort of pictures on the website and then only including 5 little LED lights in there. Now, those lights are RGB. But then the front fan, there's a single 120mm front fan. Both fans in this case use Molex connectors. The front fan has white LEDs, they're pretty bright, but the fan is not RGB, so you do get this white light mixed with all your RGB lights. The fans are also incredibly loud, so I would just throw them away really if you are going to go with the Azza Onyx 260. So now that we're in the main chamber, it's a bit weird saying main chamber when there's just a single chamber really in this case. This is where the motherboard goes, so up to ATX 7 slots. Now they are the breakaway type, so you have to just break away those slots. There's a single replaceable one, so if you end up replacing a bottom one for a Wi-Fi card, for example, extra USB ports or a networking card maybe, you can replace it afterwards, but only one of them is included. Something that I really like is that in this chamber you can put dual SSDs as well. So when you use SSDs, there is some room for your cables to exit. When you use hard drive, the cables exit from the top or from the bottom, and well, you'll create even more of a cable mess. So cable management really is a problem with this case, and you can really see that if you move to the back side. There is maybe 1 centimeter at most in most areas to manage your cables. And the real problem here is that the power supply has a nice cover, but the hard drive, there are dual 3.5-inch drive slots in front of it, so there's not really anywhere for cables to go or for cables to be stashed. If you stash them in front of the drive cages, they're visible because the power supply cover does not cover the entire length of the case either. So it's really a difficult one to work in. It's a challenge, and it's a challenge that I'm not going to take upon me for reasons like, for example, the fact that I can't put radiators in here. It's not all bad though. So for example, the CPU cutout is very nice and big. The case is very well built. That's nice to see. And for only 70 euros, if you get glass and RGB lighting, that would be great. And you do get a lot of RGB lighting. So I did complain about only having 5 LEDs in the front, but then you do get the power supply cover. That one's lit. And then there's also an LED bar in the top, which is very nice. And you can also hook this up to motherboard controllers or external controllers, or add extra LED strips, because it is just the standard RGB LED strip connector on here. What's also really nice is that this power supply cover, unlike with some very expensive cases from, for example, Corsair, like the 570X, it actually has cutouts for your cables. So before I do my conclusion, I want to give you guys a reason why this case review is different from my other ones. I went and bought this case this very morning because I wanted to be the first one in Europe. It's actually the first English review on the Onyx 260. But sadly, I'm going to have to return it the very same day. Not because I borrowed it, because I actually spent my own money on it, but because I don't want to sell it on to someone else for the following reasons, and mostly because I don't like this product. So the thing is, 70 euros is not a lot of money, and if you need to then include tempered glass, RGB lighting, and of course all the other like tax and shipping and all that sort of stuff, there's not a lot of money left to really make a high quality case. So while it's great that you have this basement and the metal bits are well built and RGB is cool and tempered glass is cool, all that sort of stuff, my RGB controller is already broken. So I only have this ugly green color and blue, and everything else is broken. So I can't use that. I have checked the cables multiple times, guys, so don't worry about that. No top airflow. The included fans are Molex connected and they're horribly loud. The RGB controller is also with a Molex connection. Most of you, when you're going to build in this, are going to really struggle with cable management. And the fact that you'll have to probably run an extra cable for Molex connections is not going to make your life any easier. Then there's the fact that the included cables don't really have anywhere to go from the front I/O into the back of the motherboard tray, so that's a problem. Every single screw kind of feels like it's just being cross-threaded when you put it in or take it out, even though they're not. So build quality really is the main issue with this one. Quality control, I don't think Azza has quality control. So yeah. Anyway guys, if you like this video, then please press that like button, and if you didn't, there's the subscribe button for when I make a video that you do like. Now if you want to follow me, there's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. If you really want to support this channel, get better gear, buy more products so that I can return them the same day. Hopefully I don't have to do that, but there's a Patreon and a paypal.me link so you can support the channel like the awesome people on your screen right now. So for now, I'm just going to put this case back in the box, return it to where I bought it from, and start working on the next video. Bye, see you next week.